Hello everyone, it's Alan from Eland Tech Law. Today we're going to talk about competitive RFP responses. So where you're going to respond to an RFP and you are pretty sure that at least one of your competitors will as well. And as part of this RFP package that the potential customer is given out, they've included their legal terms, their proposed contract, and they've said, please let us know what changes you would seek to this contract. So now the question is, how do I approach just that legal part? Obviously, the rest of the response is sort of business and technology focused. But so on this, there are three sort of main approaches that you might take. You might say, here's a full markup of the template contract that you provided, and you go through it and you do a red line like you would as if you're starting into a negotiation with this end customer. The second is you might say something like, here are the major issues that I see in your contract. So maybe it's IP ownership, maybe it's limitation of liability, maybe it's acceptance provisions, something like that. And then you'd add sort of a statement, something to the effect of, there may be other issues, but we're confident that we can overcome those issues if we overcome these ones, or something like that. And then the third is you don't provide any comments at all. Now the goal is kind of twofold, right? You want to get through to the next round, be awarded the contract so that you can go into these negotiations and actually get the work and get it locked down. But you also don't want your approach to doing that to make it right for your competitor to challenge the process, right? Challenge your initial response or challenge the award based on the criteria that have been established by the customer. So you need to be a little delicate. So there are a couple of ways or a couple of factors to think about when you're assessing which of these three approaches you might take. So you're going to try to assess, your relationship with the customer. Is it close? Have you worked with them before? Do they know you? Do they like you? Were you involved in putting together the RFP documentation? Sometimes customers will say, hey, let's put these requirements in so it lines up well with your product. So that's great. You also want to think about what competitors do you expect to be part of this process? And then subsequently, how competitive is this RFP? Is it likely that someone would challenge the process or challenge the award? Should I risk maybe add some risk to get myself through to the next round because I know that it won't likely be challenged once I'm awarded the contract because for whatever reason I have that insight. So those are some of the factors. My personal view, and obviously it varies for each RFP and each client, but my personal view is you at least want to indicate the high level big picture items that you can't agree to. I think it's a bit disingenuous if you're not at least identifying those, but I don't think you need to turn off the potential customer by doing a full red line especially if you think that red line is going to be ugly. So I might say, the second approach of saying, well, IP ownership is not what I would need. I would need ownership to stay with us. I'd need our liability to be capped at the contract value or 12 months of revenues leading up to the incident that caused the liability, or something like that. And so I'd probably highlight those and say those need to change, but we can work through the rest of it, and I'd submit my response that way. So those are some thoughts and some approaches responding to the question that I get of how do I deal with a contract template that's part of this RFP process. Questions, comments, thoughts, other experiences, always happy to hear those. And I'll talk to you all soon.